Hey guys, it's Robert from East Coast Sawing Design, back at you in a new video. As many of you know, I cut firewood for my family. We burn between 10 and 14 cords a year, depending on the year and how early we start in the season, so we need a good chainsaw to run the gear. In the past, you've seen me running a Husqvarna 55, and I typically ran that with an 18-inch bar, though I do have 15s for it. And this past week, the Husqvarna finally crapped out on me. It was a secondhand chainsaw I got in 2017. I ran it commercially then, and I probably put 20, 30 cord on it that year alone. And then it was the primary cutting saw ever since for our family. And it's just finally had enough. It had a couple issues with it being a secondhand saw, so its time was up. So today I finally pulled the trigger and upgraded my chainsaw. So I went with a Sthil. In 2020, my father's 55, Husky 55, had blown up as well, and he went with a Sthil. He has a ms261, and I'm not sure if I showed that on camera. It's a nice saw. The 271 is the Farmer Tech brand, line, which is the bridge between a homeowner saw and a pro saw. They're very lightweight, good power to weight ratio, but they don't have the capabilities of the pro saws or the durability. But for homeowner use, they're actually a very nice saw. The last 3 years I've been running both my 55 and Dad's 271, and it's been really good, but time for me to upgrade the saws now that my 55 crap bed. So I went out today and purchased a ms261. This is a 50cc saw. The 271's a 55. Comes with a 16-inch bar factory, and it's rated for 3 kilowatts or just over 4 horsepower. In comparison to the 271, it's a very high revving saw, so it gets a lot of its power at the upper end of its band. It has a magnesium main body, magnesium side covers, but it's still a very lightweight saw. It's about 1.5 pounds lighter than the 271. I've only put about a half a tank on it, and that was cutting some of the wood right behind me. And I'm in love with the saw. I'm quite pleased with the purchase. This is my first brand new to me chainsaw. So it's been just the 5 minutes of testing has proven to me that this was the purchase I needed to make. It's a very the 261 is a pro grade saw, and from my own experience of using one in 2017, when I got my Husky 55, my work partner got a 261, and he quite enjoyed it as well. He still has it. And we found that the saw, being a high rever, was really good for pulp, if you're a pulp cutter. But as long as you're not like pushing it really, really hard, because it doesn't have the bottom end torque like some of the other saws, it's a fantastic hardwood saw as well, it being a much lightweighter saw. So in my case, 90% of what we cut for firewood is 10 inches or less. So with the 60-inch bar, you're not even coming close to your capacity. So it's a great saw, and we've pushed that his 261, so I know it's a great saw. Couple things on it. With the 16-inch bar, this saw is 32 inches long, so it's actually the same dimensions as the 271 for length. I've marked on the side cover, there's a little groove here. I've marked it with a marker. That's the 20-inch mark, because as I've mentioned in past videos, I use a 20-inch, I cut my firewood 20 inches long, excuse me. So it's been really good. So I'm gonna show you cutting a couple logs with it, just some wood that's been left out, not piled up in the big pile behind me, and just my first thoughts and impressions. Alright guys, so we got 3 logs here to show you the saw on. This one's about on the small end, so that's about a 7-inch birch. That's about a 2 5-inch maples. So this is very typical what we cut for firewood. You may not see me fully in frame here, but I'm wearing earmuffs. I highly recommend you always wear earring protection with your chainsaws. If you're not comfortable or you're cutting on someone else's property, or you don't feel safe about what you're doing, I highly recommend chaps. I'm very comfortable cutting here in the middle of the yard. That's why I don't wear safety chaps. I do recommend steel-toe boots. If you have a crush injury with a piece of wood falling down, gives you the ankle support, so loggers boots would be better, but steel-toe bare minimum. Some kind of glove, protect your hands. And some kind of eye protection. My glasses are ANSI rated. So like all stills that were made after about 7 years ago or so, you got your trigger control. You squeeze your trigger, pull all the way down for choke. Then when she's running, you flip it up into run, and that gives you an advanced throttle to warm up. And it has a decompression lever, which the 271 does not, to make it a little easier to start. And when you want to stop, you just pull up, and it's a momentary switch. So as you can see, guys, the ms261 is, just like I said, a little screamer compared to some of the other stills. Compared to Dad's 271, it's a big time change difference in the saw characteristics. Dad's is a bit torquey with a lower chain speed, whereas that's just a screamer. But you see it just motored through the wood like nobody's business. It's not a cheap saw to buy, comparatively speaking. Something like the 271 Farm Tech is $650 plus tax locally. That's Canadian dollars. This was about $850 plus tax. So because I was purchasing the chainsaw, I had gotten a second chain for it, and that was at cost, regular 30, paid 20 for it. And I got a second bar, which actually went on Dad's 271 as there was a kink in the bar. That bar was $60 regular price. I got it for 40 at cost. So taxes in, this saw was $1,000.50 with that bar and chain. And they gave me some swag. I don't have it handy. A Sthil ball cap. I'm not a big ball cap wearer, so that's why I'm not wearing it for the video. Big shout out to Celtic Kubota here in Sydney, Cape Breton, for the purchase of the chainsaw. Their sales tech was really awesome to work with. And again, I've had some past experiences with the saw, so when I went in to look, I was originally looking at the ms261, as again, I've had 5 years experience with the 271, and he upsold me on the 261, and having some experience with 261 and knowing that it's lighter, more maneuverable, and just packs a wallop in terms of horsepower output is really swayed my decision on getting this chainsaw. So this is my first impressions. I haven't even run a full tank through it yet, but it's quite meaty. I'll do a long review at the end of the year when we're done our firewood. As you can see, the big pile to my right, your left, is about 6 cords of firewood, so we're not quite there yet. We'll be hitting the swamp pretty soon, and I'll try to get some videos this year cutting down the swamp. If you like these videos, give me a shout out, or not shout out, consider subscribing to see more videos. Hit that notification button, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down if you don't like the video, and comment if you have anything to suggest for video topics or what you want to hear about. Thanks, guys.